Good day, dear colleagues, dear audience. First of all, I would like to tell that it's a big pleasure for me to greet you at our broadcast webinar addressed to a very important, to a very topical issue, I would say, especially for the academic and educational sphere, remote learning. So my name is Yana Vysotskaya. I'm the head of the Department of International Educational Programs at Ural Federal University. But today I'm the moderator of this session, and actually for me personally, it's a very interesting matter of discussion, and I hope that you will also enjoy it, sharing this experience with each other. So, dear audience, please check yourself that you joined right link at the right time. The topic of this session today is the organization of remote learning in Russian and German universities. And now I think I would like to pass on to the most important part of introduction and to introduce you our guests, our admired experts from the Technical University of Berlin, Germany. First of all, Dr. Anja Wipper, psychologist and trainer on distance learning through media and expert in academic teaching excellence for distant learning, blended learning, development of online modules. Dr. Dalida Valeeva, Department of Communication, and Dr. Elena Eyngorn, Associate Professor, Project Coordinator. Yeah. So moving further to a discussion part, let me tell you just a few words about the agenda of our discussion, the questions that we are going to discuss. First one is the digital technologies in education. Second one, how education is organized now, what online services do universities offer, and how do they implement it in the studying process. Third one, how to develop international partnerships between universities in the modern conditions. And the fourth one, the last but not the least, academic staff experience. So just in order to start our dialogue, let me ask you a few questions, but I would like to tell to our experts that if during our dialogue you would like to have some comments, you would like to add something, please let me know, give me a sign that we discussed, or just feel free to voice your questions. And the audience, same, you can chat your questions. I will see it, and if we have time, I will address them to our experts. So my first question is very general one about this transition process into the remote learning. When it was started in Germany and at your university, at Technical University of Berlin, how do you feel you were ready for it from the technical point of view, or maybe from the mental even point of view? Please share with us your ideas, your thoughts. Who would like to start? Okay, Dr. Anja Wipper, please.
Yeah, I think at the beginning it was very difficult because we never had such a situation before. And I think there are a few lecturers already experienced in using blended learning concepts and such stuff, but many of the teaching staff was not prepared for such kind of situation, and also the technical equipment was not prepared for a pure online semester. We already had a learning management system. We used Moodle for providing material and for communication to the students, but not for online courses, or in the most cases not for online courses, but only for bare blended learning scenarios. And we had also have a web conference system, or two. We used WebEx and Adobe Connect, but the infrastructure was not prepared on such many people using the system at the same time. And so we had to consider what to do, and to enlarge the capacities of our web meeting systems and to buy new solutions. And now we have a WebEx cloud solution and also a Zoom cloud solution for video conferencing. And we also, I think we've also bought some more capacities for our university servers. Yeah, and then the mental side of this is that most of the teaching stuff was not very experienced with all these things regarding online teaching, and they asked many questions on technical issues, but also on didactical issues, and try to cope with this new situation.
Thank you very much for the answer. And as I can see that Dr. Dalida Valeeva also want to...
Yes, I just wanted to add about the organizational situation at that moment. Practically speaking, it happened in the end of March. We came to know about the online transition to online education. And at that time, there was a semester holidays. And that means that not everyone was directly confronted with this situation. Many students, most of students had their holidays, semester holidays, but I can share my own experience. I had a semester, not a semester, I had a seminar, intercultural communication, and it was kind of multi-dimensional course. It was planned for the time of semester holidays, so that many students can take part in it, a kind of block seminars. And I succeeded only in 2 days of normal conditions. Yes, we had seminar, but the last day was everything was closed, the university was closed, and I didn't have time to conclude my seminar. So I already shared with Elena with this situation. It was a kind of my gestalt is still open, so I didn't have opportunity to say goodbye to my students, to wish them luck offline, and I had to do that online, and it was a kind of sad experience for me. But it was clear from that on, it was the 13th of March that we had to close the presence learning, how to say it in English, so that you have to be present offline.
All the classroom sessions and face-to-face sessions.
Yes, class
has to be has to cancel. Yeah.
But fortunately, we had time till the beginning of semester, till practically 1 month to get ready mentally, psychologically, and technically. And I'm very proud for the technical university. They switched to Zoom platform, because the previous platform was a Jitsi based platform, was not very optimal for the studies. And of course, Zoom is not perfect platform, but at least it has all the instruments and tools to use for the online education. That's it, what I just wanted to say about
I can also share my personal experience from the Faculty of Space Engineering, because most of our lectures are for masters, practical lessons, laboratory works, and of course that's very complicated, yeah, to work in the laboratory. What we have, except of the normal, like after 1 month, it's already normal for us, yeah, to have online lectures, like even less than 1 month, because as the semester just started. But the remote, we are still working on the remote access to the labs, that one person is allowed to be in, one technical person is allowed to be in the lab, and he make it the technically available remote access for the students. And for this, I want also to stress that it started already like 4 years ago, to your question, when it started to Berlin, even without knowing about that we will experience it in practical. 4 years ago, to Berlin participated in the project MECA. It was funded by the European Commission. It was a cloud alliance for 12 European universities to build joint curricula and then to share it. So, for example, TU Berlin is working or developing one course, and then 11 other European universities can also use it. But it's not new. But what was new about that specific project is to allow the remote access to other universities to your own labs. So for example, you have a software, like as an example, MATLAB, that your university purchased. So if you are in a part of this University Cloud Alliance, why to buy or purchase the license once more, if you can share this license with the university? So at that time, it was like 3 years ago, we signed the agreement with these 12 universities. And it was not just about the agreement, we start to work on the remote access to the labs, different labs, material science lab, space engineering lab, so that the students can also from different, at that time it was the idea, that the students from different universities can also share the experience, not just on theoretical lectures of other professors, but also practical lessons. And right now we are really working on this and using, and yesterday we had a test lesson with the Hungary University in Budapest, and it worked. So next week we are starting the practical lessons with our students, and we really hope that it will also succeed, because like the test version was without students, and we hope that when 15 students at the same time will get the access, that the platform will still work. But yeah, that's to our faculty.
Yeah, thank you. It's actually this, I've heard a bit about this project, and I think that it's very impressive and very, again, topical, because nowadays it's one of the main issue, how to transfer the practical tasks, practical lessons into the remote access, into the remote learning. So I think it's very interesting experience. Could you please also tell us more in details in which areas this project is working mostly? I mean, engineering ones.
That project was mostly concentrated on microelectronics, like one specific field. So it was funded by the European Commission. We also shared from TU Berlin 3 curricula on space engineering and soft skills for engineers. And the idea was that after the project gets funding from the European Commission, that also other faculties will join this cloud, from material science and from robotics and from big data area. But it never happened, as mostly that's a problem with the funded projects. At the moment the funding is over, there is no continuation in the work, and that's a big pity, because otherwise also other faculties could benefit from this project, because the platform and the tools are already there. The idea was just that other faculties will also develop their online courses and enable the access to the remote lab.
Thank you. You also mentioned some of the already shared with us some of the platforms you are using nowadays with this remote learning. But could you please maybe tell us more about pros and cons? How do you feel now practically using these platforms, these services? Which of them has more advantages or disadvantages for you practically when you are making your lessons? Thank you. Anja Wipper, yes, please.
Yeah, okay. I think it's very important to not to concentrate on one mode of distance learning, or only synchronous or asynchronous, but it's better to combine both possibilities, and to use the learning management system for organization and for giving tasks to the students, for let them communicate to each other in a more asynchronous format, and then also combine it with web meetings in between to connect to connect the online phases. And it's a bit like a blended learning format, but now only in a pure online situation. We have a kind of blended online format. We have webinars or web meetings, and then in between phases of self-studying time, and to let the students collaborate. And I think most of the teaching staff of most of the students already know the learning management system, not in the way we are using it now, but for as I already told you, for providing materials, and this works very, very fine, I think. And then now, in addition, we can use these both web conferencing tools. And I think it's good that we have both, or we have three. We have Zoom as a cloud solution, we have WebEx, and we have this small Jitsi tool. This is integrated in our learning management platform. And so I think these three web conferencing tools, they all have some advantages and disadvantages. And so you can decide for which situation you want to use which tool. Jitsi is a very small tool, and it's perfect. It's integrated in all our courses. So the students have the possibility to have instant meetings in their courses, and but for all other kinds of courses, I think it's better to use WebEx or Zoom. Zoom, for me, it works very smoothly. It has a good quality, and it's easy to use. And but also WebEx is a good possibility for you can use it perfectly for either for teaching, but also for all kinds of work meetings, I would say. But perhaps the others can say something about their experiences with these both tools.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your answer. I think that Dalida, you want to add something here, please. Excuse me, we can't hear you. Your mic is.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it switches off when I don't speak. Yes, automatically. Maybe the setting is so. I can't share my own experience because it will start only today, my seminar, but I can share the experience of my colleague, chair of communication science. He also had a couple of Zoom meetings, and what is annoying that he can't see the faces. Most of students, they joined the conference without video and without sound. And he had to ask many times, please switch on your cameras, switch on your microphones, because the interaction, the interaction was there was no interaction, and he spoke to just names, black cards and with names there. Maybe it's kind of challenge for us who used to use eye contact with the students, especially from the very beginning in your first lecture. It's important to build up some personal connection to the students. And for my format, for my seminar, it is very important that the students interact with each other. It's not only like lecture, front desk lecture, but it's kind of group work. And I'm excited to experience that. I hope I will succeed, because we analyze sonograms. It's kind of, I'll show you maybe now my video. I'll change it's like this one. So I'm on Zoom in my computer. You see at the background, it's a sonogram, and the purpose, the goal of our seminar is to decipher what is under this picture, like the linguistic contents on the basis of a sonogram, a picture of our sound waves. And it's, of course, it's very important that the students share their experience, share their knowledge, share what they think. And we'll see. Maybe we can have another conference a month later, or a couple of months later on, or at the end of our semester, to exchange our victories or our failures. Now it's a little bit early for that, for me personally. Yeah, that's it.
May I also just my personal experience. I'm also using the Zoom platform. I'm pretty satisfied with this because it has a lot of options for a teacher, possibilities to involve the students into the teaching process. First of all, I can see it's a trick. Not a lot of teachers know about this, but it's you can see, like if you press on the button participants in the upper side of the platform, you can always see how many people are really following your lecture or the Zoom session. If the students, for example, during the lecture without the video, or even with, because like if you're continuing talking, but they can switch from Zoom to Google or to Facebook or to Instagram or to any other website, it will be noted here on the participant list, like what the students are doing, if they are still available for the lecture, or they're just like pretending like attending the lecture and not listening to you. Secondly, what I really like about the Zoom, you can integrate the interactive learning. The most problem with the online learning is that you cannot activate, of course, the activists will raise their hands and answer and follow the discussion. The people who are mostly silent during the classes, during the offline education, for them it's the paradise, because they have all the tools to be silent, and the teacher can do nothing to them. But what we can do, what I'm also doing during the lectures, I'm integrating trying to be like modern. I told you, Yana, this story, I think like half a year ago, that I was very surprised that my students, because I feel myself as a student as well, right? Because of the age. I think it will
Always
be
young, forever young.
exactly. And because I started to work in the university almost immediately after my graduation, so I still have the feeling I'm a graduate teacher, like somebody. And then half a year ago, my students told me, "You're not like you're not from our generation, and we can recognize it because you don't have TikTok, you don't have Instagram, and what was most important, you don't use the GIF files." Okay, it took me half a day to understand what they were meaning. And thanks to my son, he explained to me what is TikTok and what is the GIF file. And right now, I'm really trying to be more up to date for my students. And it's a surprise that during these online classes, it's really possible. So, for example, it can be used for any of the questions. You are just raising the question, and the students can give the answer with the GIF files. Like, should I show you how you can integrate the GIF files here? Like you, for example, asking in the chat, and in the chat, there is a possibility, and it's very, it makes like a kind of interaction and get together for the students. And also you can share the screens, you can upload the PowerPoint presentations here. And what I would like, what is a little bit annoying, that I cannot use my video, that like my face and the PowerPoint presentation at the same time. That's a bit, or maybe there is this option, but I didn't discover it yet, but still, I'm very pleased with the Zoom file, and the students can also exchange their opinions in the chat. And it's exactly, I will tell, like from my personal, it's exactly like during the offline. It's a bit complicated than the offline, but we know also that for some students, some lectures can be also boring during the offline. And it's really the duty and the organizational duty of the lecturer to organize the teaching or the session in a way that the students will be integrated in the teaching and learning process. And I think that Zoom can enable all these options.
Yeah, thank you very much for the answer. Oh, yeah, Anja, you would like to add something, please?
Well, I would like to add that you have another nice possibility here in Zoom. You can create breakout sessions, breakout rooms for group work, and this is a very good possibility, especially for larger classes, to divide the class into smaller groups and to let the students discuss some things, for example, in these breakout sessions, and they can also share the screen there. They can write on a whiteboard and save this whiteboard and show their results afterwards in the main meeting. And this is another nice function. And for you, Elena, when you share a screen, the participants can see your screen sharing and also your video your video in a small thumbnail.
Really, I didn't know. So it's also practical for me. I can also learn from you always, as always.
I just would like to, like all in all, to tell you that of course, it's a barrier to move from the personal contact to the kind of digital contact, but in some ways it makes us more advanced and somehow even closer with the audience, with the students, and even with each other. So now I feel that we should follow up the questions from our audience. And I would like to ask you the first to announce the first one question about foreign students. It's actually very important for us, and you have a lot of international students at your campus, as far as I know. So the question is, did they stay or go home after the start of coronavirus? And specifically about Chinese students, can Chinese students use your services for distance learning from China? Because they usually have some limitations in these issues. I think that you know some limitations about Google platforms and so on. Please, does anyone wants to tell something about it? Elena?
Maybe from my personal experience, we are talking about the students who are already subscribed to TU Berlin. They are students of TU Berlin. And we are talking about not international students coming for international weeks or summer or spring schools, or the summer school that maybe we will organize this year, but the ordinary students. And in my personal groups, we don't have Chinese students who are not in Berlin. Like we have Chinese students, but they're in Berlin and sitting at homes and using the platforms as all of other students. We don't have students from China. I know, and my colleague today, Olga Khomakova, she was announced to be here as well. She's coordinating the international space program for international students. And the students should arrive to Berlin in the beginning of March or in the middle of March and start the semester in April. But because of the virus and the closing borders, they didn't come to Berlin, so they started their first international semester in the online modus. And I know from her personal experience that it's very complicated because for students who already know you personally and for students who know each other already in the groups, it's pretty easy, and it's also like a kind of great experience. Like we will see our teacher and our classmates on Zoom. But for newcomers and first semester students, it's a little bit a big challenge, because like if you will remember yourself as the first semester student, everything is new and you don't know the teachers and you don't know what kind of requirements they have, and the material is new, and studying on this in the first semester from the online is a bit complicated. And they're also doing it in India, in US, and it's also very complicated for the teacher to find the joint time, because sometimes I know that that class, they start the lectures at 7 o'clock in the evening Berlin time, in order that people from the western and eastern coast could join the class at the same time.
Yes, please, Anja.
And especially for this reason, I think the use of group work is very important when you bring the students in together in smaller groups where they have to do some tasks. They have some better possibilities to get to know each other, and then they can make appointments outside the classroom. All our students are also allowed to use Zoom and to set up meetings for their own purposes, and so it's very important to give the students, especially the new students, such opportunities to meet each other. And then regarding the tools in Germany, perhaps you know all issues around data security are very, very strict here. And so it's not allowed to use tools outside provided outside the university, like Google Docs also. And all the tools we provide, I'm not sure, but I think you can use them also, also abroad, and especially in China or other countries where they have they don't have access to any other tools.
Yes, thank you for the answer. The next question I would like to announce is, good afternoon. How long do you think the lockdown will last, and what plans are possible if it drags on for a year? So about forecast, how do you think, how long it will last, and do you have any plans if it will last more than a year or a year? Who would like to answer? Any ideas? Yes, Anja.
I think it's very difficult to predict, because we don't have a kind of crystal ball, and we can't look into the future. And yeah, I think it depends on the behavior of the whole of all the people in our country, how long this lockdown will last. And they now are talking about some kind of tightening of taking back some restrictions, but I'm afraid if we do it too early, we will have a second wave, and then we have a second lockdown perhaps. And so I think if we can manage to keep this lockdown for some more weeks, then we have a good chance to overcome this corona situation in a few months. But I don't think that we will turn back to the university during this semester. I think the whole semester will be held online, and then in August, September, we will see, before the next semester will start in October. Or I think it's already postponed to November, beginning of November. Other opinions?
Yes.
I also think that it will, like for TU Berlin, for the lectures, it for sure will last till the next semester, till September, I assume. And that's exactly also why we are also planning to conduct the summer school, the traditional TU Berlin summer school online. We are just like looking for the ways and attractions, and because it's clear for us that of course, students came to our summer school because we are a great university, but also because of Berlin is a big and great city. And without this attraction, TU Berlin is not as sexy as we were thinking before. So we are just like thinking about how to organize the program and make it more attractive for students so that they will also subscribe. But it will be for sure online.
Yes, thank you for your reply. Actually, your reply directly connected with my next question that I wanted to ask you, is about the building the partnership between the universities, because as we know, so nowadays some of the universities, they temporarily even stop the work of the international offices until September because of this situation. So how it works in Berlin, what is the decision were made about the international cooperation and your plans for it? Could you please share with us?
I don't have the feeling that TU Berlin stopped any any offline, of course, but the online cooperation continues, and today's session is one of the best examples that our long-lasting partner, UrFU University, we are here and we are talking to each other. Even more, right, like every day I receive different emails from our international relation office about plenty of opportunities for the funding for the future, of course, that not for today and not for tomorrow, that we can apply and ask for funds for the mobilities, for staff mobilities, students mobilities. So it continues, and I even heard that European Commission also opened an extra call for the future. That I think it's very important that we will not lose our hope, and that we will not looking on this situation as it will be like this for always, but like making plans for the future. And I think that international cooperation continues. Of course, it's not the same. It's not the same as coming to Ekaterinburg and see great people there and visiting the Museum of Yeltsin and like all this. Dalida will understand this like as a teacher for intercultural communication. It's not the same, of course, online experiences, but we had class with the Riga University, Riga Technical University, and the quarantine rules in Latvia are not so strict as in Germany or in Russia, I assume. So during the open session, they made a tour on the bike and showed the Riga city to the people. So I think there are still plenty of possibilities and options to continue the international cooperation.
I absolutely do agree with you. We have same understanding and strategy here at our university. So, Dalida, I think you want to add something?
Yes,
Yeah.
I just see the positive ways, and especially in this situation, I think we are more open for alternatives and for yes, we should take advantage of the situation right now, and online cooperation can be extended to a great degree, and I'm personally looking forward to that. And if you need, I can show virtual virtual university chair, and just I'm inviting you to be guests in my computer, in my phonetic lab. And unfortunately, I have to go now. And you can, oh, it's calling, someone calling. We can talk a little bit later, and you can continue in your kreis, in your circle. And thank you very much for inviting me today. I wish you
Thank
success.
you for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dalida, for joining us, for finding a time to share with us your experience. It was very important.
I hope to share more experience and further on.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. Stay healthy.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, so as we are now finalizing our session, I think that it's very significant to ask you the last but not the least questions. Very important that this question is exactly from our audience, but not for me personally. I will have an opportunity to ask you after the session my questions. So the question is: you mentioned edX, that you are using the courses of edX, but do you use online courses from other universities all over the world? Anja?
I think it was a misunderstanding. I didn't say edX, but WebEx. WebEx is another web conference tool. But yeah, concerning using MOOCs, I don't have an overview of what our teaching staff is using in their courses. They are free to do it in their way. There's no standard for conducting the courses for the whole university. And I can imagine that there are some lecturers who use MOOCs from edX or Coursera or these large MOOC online course platforms to enrich their own teaching, but I'm not sure about it.
Thank you. Elena, you want to add something? Yeah? No?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay. I just want, maybe this question also arised from the experience of our university, because in Russia we have this national platform OpenEdu, where different Russian universities, they are like putting their courses, and we can exchange these courses with each other to cover all the programs, because it's even though we were more or less ready for this situation, but some of the courses should be like, we should put additional efforts to cover all the content of the courses. So we have this OpenEdu national platform for this purpose. And do you have in Germany something the same, some national online platforms where universities can inter-exchange with each other the courses, online courses?
Yeah, we have a smaller platform, but especially for informatics. It's from the Hasso-Plattner Institute in Potsdam. It's called Open HPI, I think. And then we have another platform. I try to remember the name. They changed the name in between. It's called on campus. It's called On Campus, and they provide several open courses for all interested people in Germany. Most of them are actually in German, but there are also some English courses in this platform. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they discussed a cooperation between the three. We have three big universities in Berlin, and we now begin to establish a larger cooperation between these three universities. It's called the Berlin University Alliance, or a Berlin Alliance of Universities, but it's just in a very beginning status, and now the time until the semester start was too short to make there more cooperation between the universities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thank you very much for your reply. Thank you very much for your openness, for that you find the time to join us to share your experience. It was very useful. It was very interesting to listen to you. And I hope that really soon we will have a chance to meet each other in person. But anyway, it's very nice to talk to you on this remote base. So I think it's time to, unfortunately, to finalize, to finish our webinar, our conference. Thank you for your time and for your answers.
Thank you for inviting us.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Bye. Have a good day.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.